Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Investment Income for Life. It has been a long time since I made my last video. Today's topic is on Lendlease Global Commercial REIT. I've been holding on to REIT since its IPO in late 2019, just before the COVID outbreak. Over the last few years, I have been gradually adding on to REIT as its price weakens, as I think that its value is severely undervalued. Currently, REIT is the third largest holdings in my overall portfolio. 4 points that I would like to touch base on for today. Number one, how do we calculate the much talked about aggregate leverage ratio? There seems to be various definitions out there in the market. Point number two relates to the numbers being presented on 1st Feb 2024 for their balance sheet and also aggregate leverage ratio on the PowerPoint deck. The third point that I'll be touching on later is the notion of perpetual securities being included as part of the aggregate leverage ratio by some online bloggers, which I find very strange. Last but not least, I'll be touching on my personal thoughts on whether REIT is still a good buy at this juncture. Okay, first and foremost, let's touch base on what is the aggregate leverage ratio. How do we compute that? There seems to be various definitions out there. According to the REITs Association of Singapore, aggregate leverage is the ratio of a REIT's debt to its total deposited property value. And in Singapore, REIT have a gearing limit of 45%. Based on this definition, the aggregate leverage ratio is simply the total bank borrowings divided by its total investment properties value. Now, if you Google and look at other sources, this is where the confusion comes in. For example, even on SGX, right, they define the aggregate leverage as total debts over total assets. So, if we follow a layman's understanding of the definition, the total borrowings as per the balance sheet is 1,511 million. The property value, we take it that it refers to investment properties, valuation of 3,647 million. Based on these two components, the aggregate leverage will be 41.4%. And this is totally different from the PowerPoint deck of 40.5%. So obviously, there seems to be a big difference between what the layman understands by this definition and the MAS definition of aggregate leverage ratio. Referring to the MAS Code of Collective Investment, the definition of total deposit property value is not referring to the value of the investment properties. Rather, deposit property refers to the value of the property fund's total assets based on the latest valuation. As per my discussion with the investor relation of REIT, the total borrowings refers to gross borrowing. So we need to take a deep dive into the notes to accounts, and this number is 1,547 million. We will need to include in unamortized transaction costs into the borrowings. As for the property value, this is simply the total assets as per the MAS Code of Collective Investment. Taking account into these two components, the aggregate leverage will be 40.5%. Next, we deal with the misconception that perpetual securities affect the leverage limit. This is not true. A perpetual bond, right, is actually a bond with no maturity date, which means that there's no fixed term of repayment. So if there's no fixed term of repayment, it means that it is a form of equity. Since it is an equity that does not need to be repaid, it is not part of the aggregate leverage limit. However, these perpetual securities, right, they do have an interest expense impact on REIT. If the perpetual bonds are not redeemed in a certain time frame, maybe 3 years, it may be 5 years, and for REIT's case, there are 3 years and 5 years. The good news is that the perpetual bonds for REIT, there is no renewal coming out for 2024. The first tranche that is due for renewal is on 11 April 2025, and another tranche will be on 4th of June 2026. So we will not experience significant interest rate hike from the perpetuals in 2024. Last but not least, we deal with the question of whether REIT is still a good buy. REIT Singapore assets continue to perform well. GEM and Somerset 313 has high occupancy. Seeing is believing, so go and see for yourself the shoppers traffic at these two popular shopping malls. Interestingly, the latest NTA of REIT is at 0.77 cents per unit, which is a 36.3% discount to the market value. Its current normalized distribution yield is at 0.0419 cents per unit per annum, which is a 7.42% distribution yield. So personally for me, I think that it is still a good buy. On the flip side, beware of the high leverage of 40% plus for REIT, and also that its sponsor is not as strong financially as Temasek Holdings. Okay, that's all from me today. Goodbye folks, have a great week ahead, and may you be well and happy always.